The Arkham Verse is in shambles and it needs someone to help get it back on its feet. Luckily, I'm here today with a solution on how to properly fix the Arkham Verse. Now, before we start this video, there are a couple of continuity changes that need to be made in order for this to work, and that main change is with Tim Drake. In Kill the Justice League, which is unfortunately canon but not unfixable, it is heavily implied that Tim was killed off-screen by the Batman clone, the one that we fight against in the game. However, given the fact that we never saw a body, I would like to instead say that Tim Drake faked his death so that he could focus on finding the real Batman, because for those of you who don't know, when Batman quote-unquote died in the comics, Tim Drake was the only person who did not actually believe that he was dead, and he set out to find him, and it turns out that he was right. But we'll get to bringing back Bruce in another video. The next thing with Tim I would like to change is his relationship with Barbara Gordon. I think they should just be good friends and nothing more. Now, this is what the next couple of installments should look like for the Arkham Verse. This first game will take place after Kill the Justice League, and it will be set in Gotham. Everyone saw Batman die on the news for real this time, and now Gotham is free reign. Criminals in Gotham no longer run scared and avoid committing crimes due to Batman's absence. These acts, however, will lead two characters to don their own bat suits, and those two characters are Jason Todd and Michael Lane, aka Azrael. With both Jason and Azrael being prone to go overkill and be extra violent, even lethal at times, this is where our main character of the game comes in, and that main character is Nightwing. Nightwing will see that both Azrael and Jason are tainting what Batman stood for, and he'll make it his mission to stop both of them, but only as Nightwing. Grayson in the beginning of the game will refuse to take up the Batman mantle, fearing that he isn't worthy of it, while also not wanting to be in Bruce's shadow. But as time goes on, towards the end of the game, Nightwing will finally make the responsible choice to take up the mantle and become the new Batman after defeating both Jason and Azrael. Now, some more things that I feel could happen with this game. I think this version of Azrael can be a lot more understanding and open to criticism when it comes to what he is doing, when in comparison to Jason Todd, who is just like a brick wall. He won't listen to any type of criticism, right? He just firmly believes that what he's doing is completely correct. So I feel like Azrael could be kind of like a distant ally to Grayson's new crusade. Now, for the second game, this will be a direct sequel to the previous game we just discussed. In this game, Grayson is the main Batman, and Tim is searching for Bruce. Now, there are two characters that I'd like to bring into the verse. One of them is already confirmed to be canon due to the voice message in the Wayne Tower, but the other one has never been mentioned. The first character I'd like to officially introduce into the world is Kate Kane, aka Batwoman, and the other is Cassandra Cain. Now, for those of you who don't know, Lady Shiva, who made an appearance in Batman Arkham Origins, is actually the mother of Cassandra Cain, and her having a daughter between the events of Origins and Kill the Justice League isn't too far-fetched. Now, in Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin run, which is where Grayson is, Batman because he takes over for him, Damian is actually Robin in that story. However, I'd like to save Damian for later on and instead replace Damian with Cassandra and make her the next Batgirl and have her fight alongside with Grayson's Batman. Now, given that Barbara was the previous Batgirl and she's never had someone replace her old identity before, this can make for a really compelling dynamic between the two characters. Now, the previous game before this would build Jason up as a main villain to Grayson. However, I'd like to hold off on making him the villain of this game and save him for a third and final installment to the Grayson/Batman trilogy. Instead, I want the main villain of this game to be Anarchy. Now, with Gotham streets running rampant with the apparent death of the Batman, this will be Anarchy's time to come back and take advantage of the chaos that's unfolding in Gotham, and it will be up to Batman and Batgirl to stop it and clean up the streets of Gotham. Now, for the third and final game that has Grayson as Batman. This will be where Jason comes back as the Red Hood, seeking revenge against Nightwing for defeating him in the first game. Jason will cause a massive breakout in Blackgate, sending criminals of all kinds after Grayson, such as Scarecrow, Killer Croc, Professor Pig, etc., in order to try and make Grayson look like he is unworthy of the mantle, and this will test just how strong Grayson is, both mentally and physically. Knowing that this is all Jason's doing, anytime they have an interaction, Grayson's main focus will be trying to bring Jason back to the family, and towards the end of the game, his goal is achieved, and at the end of the game, Bruce is back and alive with Tim Drake. But we'll talk about how that happened in a future video. Now, there are a few games that I think they should make as well. The first game is a Nightwing Year 1 storyline that takes massive inspiration from Chuck Dixon's iconic run for Grayson. The second game should be a dynamic duo game that focuses on Batman and Grayson's first or second year together as crime fighters. The third game should be a Batman Beyond game set in the future with Terry McGinnis as the Batman. Now that we're at the end of the video, I may make a part 2 of this later down the line, depending on how well this video does, if you guys want to see that. But for now, please have a safe and wonderful day, and if this is your first time here on my channel, please consider subscribing if you enjoy this type of content. And I will see you guys in a future video.